Hello everyone. Welcome back to Naruto Fix. Today we have another interesting what if Naruto story. Which is what if Naruto realized Shino Aburame knew every secret in the village. Part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, without wasting any time, let's begin. The Hidden Leaf Village feared many things. Rogue ninja, tailed beasts, forbidden jutsu. But there was one thing most people never noticed. Because it never wanted to be noticed. Inside the dark forests surrounding the village, millions of tiny eyes moved silently through the trees. Watching, listening, remembering. And at the center of it all stood Shino Aburame. Quiet, calm, invisible, a perfect shadow. Most students in the academy barely paid attention to him. Some even forgot he existed until he suddenly spoke beside them. But hidden beneath his emotionless expression, Shino carried knowledge capable of shaking the entire Hidden Leaf village. Because the insects of the Aburame clan did more than consume chakra. They gathered information. Every whisper, every meeting, every hidden conversation. For generations, the Aburame clan had unknowingly become the silent memory of the village itself. And Shino was the first person in decades who could hear everything clearly. The problem? He had started hearing things he was never supposed to know. Meanwhile, across the village, Naruto Uzumaki hung upside down from a tree branch dramatically. I'm bored. Hiba Inuzuka rolled his eyes. You're always bored. Beside him, Akamaru barked happily. Naruto crossed his arms. Well, something interesting should happen already. A quiet voice suddenly answered behind them. Interesting things are usually dangerous. Naruto nearly fell from the tree. Ah! Shino stood beneath the branch silently with insects crawling across his jacket. Naruto pointed dramatically. Stop appearing like that. Quote. Shino adjusted his glasses calmly. You simply fail to notice your surroundings. Naruto grumbled while climbing down. You sound like Kakashi-sensei. Hiba smirked. Honestly, that's kinda scary. Shino remained silent. But behind his dark glasses, his expression had slightly changed. Because hidden beneath Naruto's jacket, Shino's Kikaichu insects sensed something unusual. Not the nine tails chakra. Something else. Something older. And for the past few weeks, that unknown chakra had been growing stronger. Naruto suddenly grinned. Hey Shino, wanna spar? Hiba laughed immediately. Man, you picked the creepiest teammate possible. Shino calmly answered. I accept. Naruto pumped his fist proudly. Yes. Minutes later, they reached Training Ground 8. Wind moved softly through the trees. Naruto stretched dramatically. Prepare yourself. Quote. Shino quietly adjusted his sleeve. You should attack first. Naruto grinned confidently. Don't regret saying that. He charged forward recklessly. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Several clones rushed toward Shino simultaneously. But before they reached him, they froze. Naruto blinked. Huh. Tiny black insects covered the clones completely. Then, poof. Every clone vanished instantly. Naruto jumped backward. What? Shino calmly looked toward him. Your chakra control remains sloppy. Naruto pointed accusingly. Your bugs are cheating. Hiba laughed loudly from nearby. Man, he got you good. Naruto growled. I'm not done yet. He rushed forward again. Then suddenly stopped. Something felt wrong. The forest had become too quiet. No birds. No insects. Nothing. Even Shino's bugs suddenly became restless. Shino's expression changed instantly. Interesting. Quote. Naruto frowned. What now? Shino slowly turned toward the deeper forest. The insects are hiding. Hiba's smile faded immediately. That's bad, right? Shino nodded once. Very. Then suddenly. Scream. A distant scream echoed through the forest. Naruto instantly turned serious. That came from the village border. Without hesitation, all three sprinted toward the sound. Minutes later, they reached a destroyed checkpoint near the outer forest. Several Chunin guards lay unconscious across the ground. The wooden watchtower had been sliced apart completely. Naruto's eyes widened. What happened here? One injured shinobi coughed weakly. Something attacked us. Hiba sniffed the air immediately. I don't smell anyone. That alone felt terrifying. Even skilled ninja left scent traces. But here, nothing. Shino slowly knelt near the destroyed tower. His insects spread across the battlefield silently. Several seconds passed. Then suddenly, his body stiffened. Naruto noticed immediately. Shino. Shino looked toward the forest slowly. We should leave. Naruto blinked. Huh. Shino rarely sounded nervous. But now, something beneath his calm voice felt genuinely disturbed. Hiba frowned. What did your bugs find? Shino remained silent for several moments. Then quietly answered. Not what. His glasses reflected the dark forest ahead. Who? A cold wind passed through the trees. And from the shadows deep within the forest. Someone stepped forward slowly. Black cloak. Pale skin. Bandages covering one eye. The moment Shino saw him, millions of insects inside his body reacted violently. Naruto frowned. You know this guy. The stranger smiled faintly. But his visible eye remained fixed entirely on Shino. So the Aburame heir finally noticed. Shino's fists tightened slightly. Naruto looked between them confused. Okay, this is officially creepy. The stranger slowly raised one hand. And instantly, every insect in the forest went silent. Complete silence. Even Shino's Kikaichu stopped moving. For the first time in his life, Shino looked shocked. The stranger smiled wider. Tell me, Shino Aburame. His voice became colder. How many secrets has the village whispered to you so far? The forest felt dead. No wind. No insects. No sound at all. Even Shino Aburame's Kikaichu remained frozen beneath his skin. That alone was impossible. Naruto looked around nervously. Okay. I officially hate this guy. The cloaked stranger stepped closer slowly. Every movement felt unnaturally calm. Controlled. Like someone completely certain nobody there could stop him. Hiba Inuzuka growled immediately. Akamaru barked beside him aggressively. Who the heck are you? Exclamation mark quote. The stranger ignored him entirely. His visible eye remained fixed on Shino. You inherited it earlier than expected. Shino's expression stayed calm externally. But inside, his thoughts moved rapidly. The insects were terrified. Not merely cautious. Terrified. That had only happened once before in Shino's life. The day his father warned him about forbidden Aburame records. Shino finally spoke quietly. You are not supposed to exist. Naruto blinked. That sentence sounds really bad. The stranger smiled slightly. Correct. Then suddenly, he vanished. Naruto's eyes widened. Fast. A black blur appeared directly behind Shino instantly. Hiba reacted first. Watch out. Boom. Hiba tackled Shino sideways just before dozens of black needles pierced the tree behind them. The entire trunk dissolved instantly. Naruto stared in horror. What kind of attack was that? Exclamation mark quote. The stranger stood silently where Shino had been moments earlier. Small black insects crawled around his fingertips. Shino froze. Because he recognized them. Not Kikaichu. Older. Deadlier. Forbidden. Shino's voice became colder than usual. Kurokiga. Naruto frowned. Bless you. Kiba shouted immediately. That wasn't a sneeze, idiot. The stranger chuckled softly. So you really do know. Shino slowly stood up again. Millions of Kikaichu finally began moving inside his body once more. But now they felt restless. Aggressive. The stranger tilted his head slightly. How much did your insects tell you, Shino? Shino said nothing. The stranger continued calmly. Did they tell you who secretly meets outside the village walls? Naruto blinked. Huh. Did they tell you which clan heads lie to the Hokage? Kiba's expression changed slightly. And most importantly, the stranger's eye narrowed. Did they tell you what truly happened the night of the Nine-Tails attack? The atmosphere instantly froze. Naruto's expression darkened immediately. You know about that. The stranger finally looked toward Naruto for the first time. Interesting. For a split second, his gaze sharpened strangely, like he had noticed something unexpected. Then suddenly, all the insects in the surrounding forest moved at once. Millions of tiny wings filled the air. Kiba looked around in alarm. What the heck? Shino's eyes widened behind his glasses. Those weren't his insects. The entire forest was responding to the stranger. The cloaked man calmly spread his arms. You understand now, don't you? The insects gathered around him like a living storm. The Aburame clan never controlled the insects. Quote. Naruto frowned. Then who does? The stranger smiled. The insects choose. Shino's heartbeat slowed. Because deep inside, he already knew this story. A forbidden legend buried within the clan. Long ago, one Aburame shinobi supposedly gained complete synchronization with the hive consciousness shish. ARED by all chakra-consuming insects. Afterward, he could hear everything, see everything. Every insect became his eyes and ears. The clan eventually sealed all records about him. Because the more knowledge he gathered, the more unstable he became. The stranger quietly spoke. You know my name, don't you? Shino remained silent. The stranger's smile widened slightly. Say it. Finally, Shino answered. Shikuro Aburame. Quote. Naruto and Kiba froze. Aburame. One of their own clan members. Kiba looked shocked. Wait. This guy's from your clan. Shikuro laughed softly. Once. His insects swirled violently around him now. Like darkness itself breathing. Shino clenched his fists slightly. You disappeared 20 years ago. Shikuro's visible eye darkened. No. The air became colder. I was erased. Naruto frowned deeply. Why does every village secret involve erasing people? Exclamation mark quote. Nobody answered him. Shikuro slowly walked closer. After the insects connected me to the hive mind. His voice became quieter. I learned too much. Flash. Suddenly Shino saw fragments through the insects. Secret meetings. Masked Anbu. Clan betrayals. Hidden laboratories beneath the village. And one final image. A younger Hiruzen speaking with the Aburame elders. The boy can never be allowed to reveal what he knows. Quote. The vision ended instantly. Shino's body stiffened. Naruto noticed immediately. What did you just see? Shikuro smiled faintly. The insects share memories. He pointed toward Shino. And now he's beginning to inherit mine. Quote. Kiba stepped backward nervously. Okay. Nope. This whole conversation is cursed. Naruto stepped forward instead. So what do you want? Shikuro looked toward him silently. Then quietly answered. To warn you. Quote. Everyone froze slightly. Naruto blinked. What? Shikuro's expression lost all amusement. The village is rotting from inside. The insects around him grew restless again. There are people inside Konoha hiding truths dangerous enough to destroy the shinobi world. Quote. Naruto crossed his arms. Then tell the old man Hokage. Shikuro laughed softly again. He already knows some of them. That answer changed everything. Even Shino's expression shifted slightly. Shikuro slowly raised one hand. An insect landed on his fingertip. Tiny. Black. Almost invisible. This insect spent 3 years inside the Hokage Tower. Naruto stared blankly. That's disgusting. Shikuro ignored him. It heard conversations no one else was meant to hear. Quote. Shino immediately understood the implication. Information gathering. Surveillance. Espionage beyond imagination. Shikuro looked directly at Naruto now. Do you know why villagers feared you even before you became a troublemaker? Quote. Naruto froze slightly. The fox. No. Naruto's eyes widened. Shikuro's voice became deadly quiet. Because someone made sure the village would never forget what was sealed inside you. Silence. Absolute silence. Naruto slowly clenched his fists. What did you say? Shino instantly noticed it. The air around Naruto changed slightly. The nine tails chakra reacting emotionally. Shikuro continued calmly. The law protecting your identity as Jinchuriki was broken intentionally. Quote. Naruto's breathing became unstable. Who? Shikuro slowly looked toward the hidden leaf village far beyond the trees. The same people hiding the village's oldest secrets. Suddenly, all the insects around him scattered violently. Shikuro's expression sharpened instantly. Too late. Shino turned immediately. Several powerful chakra signatures approached rapidly through the forest. Anbu. Dozens of them. Naruto frowned. Uh-oh. Shikuro looked toward Shino one final time. The hive has already chosen you. Shino's insects stirred uneasily. Shikuro's voice became quieter. And once you learn every secret. His visible eye darkened. They will try to erase you too. Boom. Anbu suddenly burst into the clearing from every direction. Masked shinobi surrounded the area instantly. One stepped forward coldly. Step away from the missing nin immediately. Quote. Naruto pointed dramatically. You guys seriously have the worst timing. But Shikuro only smiled calmly. Then, his body dissolved into a cloud of black insects. The Anbu reacted instantly. Stop him. Too late. The swarm vanished into the forest entirely. Silence returned slowly. One Anbu immediately turned toward Shino. Did he tell you anything? Shino adjusted his glasses quietly. Number. But hidden beneath his sleeve. One small black insect crawled silently across his wrist. An insect that did not belong to him. And inside Shino's mind, a whisper echoed softly. The first secret waits beneath the village. Night covered the hidden leaf village beneath heavy clouds. Rain began falling softly across rooftops. Most villagers stayed inside their homes unaware that something dangerous had just entered the village shadows again. Meanwhile, Shino Aburame walked silently beside the Anbu escort. Naruto Uzumaki and Kiba Inuzuka followed close behind. Naruto crossed his arms irritably. This whole thing feels suspicious. One Anbu answered coldly. Your opinion was not requested. Naruto immediately pointed angrily. See. That attitude right there. Kiba sighed heavily. Please don't start fighting Anbu. Naruto grumbled under his breath while kicking a small rock. But Shino remained unusually quiet. Because beneath his sleeve, the unfamiliar black insect still crawled slowly across his skin. Its chakra felt wrong. Older than normal Kikaichu. And every few seconds, it whispered fragments directly into his mind. Below. Sealed. Watching. Shino subtly clenched his fist. The insect immediately became silent again. One Anbu suddenly glanced toward him. Is something wrong? Shino answered calmly. No. But behind his glasses, his thoughts were racing. The hive mind. The forbidden Aburame connection. Everything Shikuro said matched old clan rumors almost perfectly. And if those stories were true, then Shikuro really could know nearly every secret in the village. Which meant one horrifying possibility. Some of those secrets might already be inside Shino's head now too. Minutes later, the group reached the Hokage Tower. Rain poured harder outside. Several Anbu guarded every entrance. The atmosphere felt tense. Like the entire village leadership already expected disaster. Naruto stretched dramatically. If this turns into another boring lecture, I'm leaving. The Anbu ignored him completely. Inside the Hokage's office, Hiruzen Sarutobi stood beside the window silently smoking his pipe. The moment Shino entered, the Hokage's eyes narrowed slightly. Not toward Naruto. Not toward Kiba. Toward Shino. Naruto immediately noticed. Okay, that's definitely suspicious. Hiruzen slowly sat down. Tell me everything. For several minutes, Kiba explained what happened at the checkpoint attack. The stranger. The insects. The name. Shikuro Aburame. With every word, the Hokage's expression grew darker. Finally, silence filled the office. Naruto crossed his arms. So who is this guy really? Hiruzen closed his eyes briefly. Then quietly answered. Someone the village hoped never to see again. Naruto frowned. That explains literally nothing. Surprisingly, the Hokage almost smiled faintly. But it vanished quickly. Hiruzen looked directly at Shino now. What exactly did he say to you? Shino paused. The black insect beneath his sleeve moved slightly again. The village hides dangerous secrets. The Hokage remained silent. Shino continued calmly. And that once I learned too much, I may be erased like him. Kiba blinked nervously. Can he actually do that? Nobody answered immediately. That alone was answer enough. Naruto's expression darkened slightly. You people really erase a lot of people around here. Quote. The Hokage sighed heavily. Some information cannot be allowed to spread. Naruto immediately pointed at him. That sounds super evil when you say it like that. Before Hiruzen could answer, Shino suddenly froze. The black insect beneath his sleeve stabbed painfully into his skin. Flash. A vision exploded into his mind instantly. Dark underground tunnels. Ancient stone walls beneath the village. Rows of sealed doors covered in warning symbols. And behind one door, something moving. Something enormous. Then a whisper echoed directly into Shino's mind. Find the first chamber. The vision ended instantly. Shino staggered slightly. Naruto noticed immediately. Shino. The room tensed instantly. Several Anbu stepped forward. Hiruzen's eyes sharpened. What happened? Shino hesitated. Normally he would never reveal uncertain information. But this felt important. There is something beneath the village. The atmosphere changed immediately. Even the Anbu reacted. Hiruzen slowly stood up again. What kind of something? Shino answered honestly. I do not know. The black insect crawled higher beneath his collar. Its whispers returned softly. Roots. Memory. Below the old foundation. Naruto frowned deeply. Your bug's talking to you again, isn't it? Kiba blinked. Wait. It can do that. Shino adjusted his glasses quietly. Yes. Naruto pointed dramatically. That is officially nightmare fuel. The Hokage suddenly looked older somehow. Tired. Like he already knew where this conversation was heading. Finally, he spoke quietly. There are old chambers beneath Konoha. Everyone turned toward him immediately. Built before the hidden villages existed fully. His expression darkened. Places even most clan heads do not know about. Quote. Naruto blinked. Why does our village sound more evil every day? Hiruzen ignored him. Then slowly looked toward Shino. If Shikuro wants those chambers opened. His voice became colder. Then the village may be in more danger than you realize. Quote. Suddenly. Boom. A violent explosion shook the entire Hokage tower. Everyone froze instantly. Smoke rose outside the window. Anbu immediately rushed toward the doors. Attack at the Eastern District. Quote. Another explosion followed. Screams echoed faintly through the village streets. Naruto instantly ran toward the window. What now? Far away near the market district. A gigantic black swarm spiraled into the sky. Millions of insects. The villagers below panicked as buildings became covered in moving darkness. Kiba's face went pale. That's impossible. Even Shino looked shocked. Because those insects weren't attacking randomly. They were moving in patterns. Symbols. Ancient Aburame symbols. And slowly, the massive swarm formed one giant sentence across the sky. Only Shino fully understood it. His eyes widened behind his glasses. Naruto looked confused. What does it say? Shino's voice became quieter than ever. The village remembers its sins. At that exact moment, deep beneath Konoha, inside forgotten underground ruins, one ancient sealed door slowly cracked open by itself. And from the darkness beyond it, something began breathing again. Rain crashed violently across the hidden leaf village. Lightning flashed through the clouds above as panic spread through the streets below. Villagers ran in terror beneath the massive black insect swarm twisting across the sky. Anbu squads rushed between rooftops. Barrier teams activated emergency seals. But none of it slowed the swarm. Because the insects weren't attacking randomly. They were searching. Inside the Hokage tower, tension filled the room. Naruto Uzumaki stared out the shattered window wide-eyed. Okay. This officially became insane. Kiba Inuzuka held Akamaru tightly. Even the small dog looked terrified. Meanwhile, Shino Aburame remained completely still. But inside his body, chaos had already begun. The black insect beneath his collar dug deeper into his chakra network. Not painfully, purposefully. And with every second, more whispers entered Shino's mind. The first chamber. Below the roots. Wake the forgotten. Shino quietly clenched his fists. Millions of his own Kikaichu stirred anxiously beneath his skin. For the first time in his life. They were afraid. The Hokage noticed immediately. Shino. Shino slowly looked up. Hiruzen's expression had become unusually serious now. You understand those insects better than anyone here. Quote. Silence. Then the Hokage quietly asked. What are they trying to find? Shino hesitated. Because deep inside, he already knew the answer. The insects were not searching for a place. They were searching for someone. Before he could answer. Boom. Another explosion shook the tower. And Anbu suddenly burst into the room. Hokage-sama. The shinobi sounded genuinely alarmed. The insects breached the eastern underground foundation. Quote. Hiruzen's face darkened instantly. How far? They're heading beneath the old root sector. The atmosphere froze completely. Naruto blinked. Root. Kiba frowned. What's that? Several Anbu exchanged uneasy glances. Nobody answered. Naruto immediately pointed accusingly. See. You people are hiding more secret stuff. Hiruzen slowly closed his eyes. For a brief moment, he looked exhausted. Then finally spoke. Root was an old covert division. Quote. Naruto crossed his arms. That sounds suspicious already. It no longer officially exists. Shino noticed something important immediately. Officially. Silence. The Hokage did not answer directly. That alone was enough. Shino's thoughts sharpened rapidly. Hidden underground chambers. Root. Secret insects. And Shikuro targeting those areas specifically. The pieces were connecting. Suddenly, the black insect beneath his collar whispered something clearly for the first time. Danzo remembers. Shino froze. The name hit him instantly. Even the Hokage's expression changed the moment Shino quietly repeated it aloud. Danzo. Naruto frowned. Who's Danzo? The room became uncomfortably silent. Kiba whispered nervously. Why does everybody suddenly look scared? Before anyone answered, the insect swarm outside suddenly changed direction. Naruto looked out the window again. They're moving. Quote. Millions of insects now spiraled toward one specific location deeper in the village. An old abandoned district near the underground foundations. The Hokage immediately turned toward the Anbu. Evacuate civilians now. Quote. Then his eyes shifted toward Shino. You're coming with me. Naruto instantly pointed at himself. And me too. No. Naruto's jaw dropped. What? Hiruzen's voice became sharper. This situation is beyond genin level danger. Quote. Naruto growled angrily. You always say that. Kiba looked equally annoyed. We can still help. But Shino suddenly spoke quietly. Naruto should come. Everyone looked toward him. Even Naruto blinked. Shino adjusted his glasses slowly. The insects reacted differently around him earlier. Naruto pointed proudly. See, I'm important. Shino ignored him. And if Shikuro truly controls the hive mind. His voice became quieter. Then Naruto may already be connected somehow. The Hokage frowned deeply. Because unfortunately, that possibility sounded believable. After several tense seconds, Hiruzen sighed heavily. Fine. Naruto instantly grinned. Yes. But you stay close to the Anbu at all times. Naruto nodded dramatically. Believe it. Minutes later, they moved through the rain-covered rooftops rapidly. The village below looked chaotic. Swarming insects covered entire buildings. Yet strangely, they avoided harming civilians. Shino noticed that immediately. These insects are controlled precisely. Hiruzen nodded grimly. Which makes Shikuro even more dangerous. Quote. As they neared the abandoned district, the atmosphere changed completely. The rain stopped reaching the ground. Because millions of insects covered the sky above like a living ceiling. Naruto stared upward nervously. I'm never sleeping again. The group landed before a massive cracked stone entrance hidden beneath ruined buildings. Ancient symbols covered the walls. Half-erased warning seals lined the doorway. And directly above the entrance, someone had painted a symbol using black insects. A single eye. Watching. Shino's insects reacted violently the moment they saw it. Flash. Another vision exploded inside his mind. A younger Shikuro standing in this exact tunnel years ago. Dozens of root shinobi surrounding him. And one man stepping from the darkness slowly. Bandaged arm. Cold expression. Danzo. The vision continued. Danzo spoke quietly. You have seen too much. Shikuro answered calmly. No. His insects swarmed around him. I have not seen enough. Then, the vision cut abruptly. Shino nearly stumbled. Naruto grabbed his shoulder quickly. You okay? Shino looked toward the underground entrance silently. Then whispered something that made even the Hokage freeze. Shikuro was never trying to destroy the village. Everyone stared at him. Shino's voice remained calm. He was trying to expose what root sealed beneath it. Quote. Lightning flashed across the sky. And deep underground, something suddenly roared. Not human. Not animal. Ancient. The sound alone shook the tunnel walls violently. Naruto's eyes widened. Please tell me that was just somebody's stomach. Quote. Nobody answered Naruto Uzumaki. That terrified him more than the roar itself. Rainwater dripped slowly from the broken stone entrance as everyone stared into the darkness below. The underground tunnel felt wrong. Cold. Heavy. Alive. Even the Anbu hesitated now. One masked shinobi whispered. That sound came from deep beneath the root chambers. Hiba Inuzuka held Akamaru tightly. The little dog whimpered nervously. I've never smelled anything like this before. Beside him, Shino Aburame remained completely still. But beneath his jacket, millions of Kikaichu moved restlessly. The black insect hidden inside his collar continued whispering softly. Below. It remembers. The sealed hunger. Shino narrowed his eyes slightly behind his glasses. The insect wasn't speaking randomly anymore. It was guiding him somewhere specific. The Hokage finally stepped forward. We move carefully from here. Naruto immediately pointed toward the tunnel. So what exactly are we expecting down there? Silence. Then Hiruzen answered quietly. Something the village buried long ago. Quote. Naruto sighed dramatically. Of course it is. The group descended slowly into the underground passage. Darkness swallowed them almost instantly. Ancient torch brackets lined the walls, but most had long since rotted away. Only Anbu chakra lamps illuminated the tunnel faintly. As they moved deeper, the walls began changing. Old stone became smooth black metal. Strange symbols appeared everywhere. Seals. Thousands of them. Naruto frowned. Why are there so many seals down here? One Anbu answered grimly. To keep things inside. That answer made everyone uncomfortable. Suddenly, Shino stopped walking. Everyone immediately turned toward him. Naruto blinked. What now? Shino slowly looked toward the wall beside him. Then quietly raised one hand. A swarm of Kikaichu spread across the metal surface instantly. Several seconds passed. Then, click. Part of the wall slid open by itself. A hidden chamber revealed itself behind it. Naruto's jaw dropped. You can do that. Shino stepped inside silently. The others followed cautiously. And immediately froze. Hundreds of glass containers filled the room. Inside each floated insects unlike anything Naruto had ever seen. Gigantic beetles. Transparent spiders. Winged creatures covered in glowing markings. Some looked barely alive. Others scratched violently against the glass. Hiba looked disturbed. What is all this? Shino stared around silently. Even he had never seen species like these before. The black insect inside his collar whispered again. Experiments. Failed vessels. Hiruzen's expression darkened heavily. This chamber should have been destroyed. Naruto frowned. Wait. He pointed toward one container. That thing's moving. Everyone turned instantly. Inside the largest container, something humanoid slowly shifted in darkness. Not fully human. Not fully insect. Its body was covered in black chitin-like armor. One glowing yellow eye opened slowly. Naruto stepped backward immediately. Nope. The creature inside the glass stared directly at Shino. Then suddenly, all the containers in the room began shaking violently. Alarms echoed through the underground chamber instantly. Red warning symbols lit across the walls. One Anbu shouted. The seals are destabilizing. Shino's insects exploded outward protectively. Because every creature in the containers had suddenly become active. And all of them were reacting to him. The humanoid creature pressed against the glass slowly. Its cracked voice echoed faintly. Air. Shino froze completely. Naruto looked horrified. Why is it talking to you? Before anyone could react. Boom. The glass container exploded outward. Black fluid flooded the floor. The creature landed silently before them. Tall. Twisted. Its body looked partially fused with living insects. And its glowing eye remained fixed entirely on Shino. The Anbu immediately attacked. Protect the Hokage. Several shinobi rushed forward with chakra blades. Too slow. The creature moved like a blur. Crack. One Anbu was thrown across the chamber instantly. Another barely blocked before being slammed into the wall. Naruto's eyes widened. Fast. The creature ignored everyone else. It slowly approached Shino. Hive's successor. Shino's heartbeat slowed slightly. Because strangely, his insects were not afraid of this thing. They recognized it. The creature tilted its head unnaturally. You hear them now. Shino finally spoke. What are you? The creature's eye flickered. First failure. The atmosphere became colder instantly. Hiruzen clenched his fists. No. Naruto frowned. What does that mean? The creature pointed slowly toward Shino. Before the clan perfected Kikaichu bonding. Its voice crackled painfully. They created us. Hiba stepped backward. Created. The creature's body twitched violently. Insects fused directly with human nervous systems. Naruto stared in horror. That's insane. The creature suddenly looked toward the Hokage. Root wanted living weapons. Silence filled the chamber. Even the Anbu froze. Because nobody denied it. The creature's voice became weaker. Most died. Its eyes shifted back toward Shino. But one survived long enough to hear the hive completely. Shino's eyes widened slightly. Shikuro. The creature nodded slowly. Then suddenly, its body convulsed violently. Black insects burst from cracks across its skin. The alarms screamed louder. The creature looked terrified now. It's waking up. Naruto frowned. What's waking up? Before the creature answered, the entire underground complex shook violently. Boom. Dust fell from the ceiling. Far below them, something massive moved. The roar from earlier echoed again. Closer this time. Much closer. Then, every insect in the chamber suddenly turned toward the darkness deeper underground. And for the first time since entering the tunnels, Shino felt true fear from the hive mind. Not fear of death. Fear of recognition. The creature whispered shakily. The queen remembers her children. The underground chamber trembled violently. Dust poured from the ceiling. Ancient warning seals flickered red across the walls as the roar echoed through the tunnels again. Closer. Much closer. Naruto Uzumaki slowly backed away. I don't like the word queen anymore. Quote. Nobody laughed. Even the Anbu looked tense now. The humanoid insect creature collapsed onto one knee, shaking violently. Black insects crawled frantically across its cracked body. Its glowing yellow eye remained locked on Shino Aburame. You must run. Shino adjusted his glasses quietly. Explain first. The creature's body twitched painfully. Long ago. Its distorted voice echoed weakly through the chamber. Root discovered something beneath the village. Quote. Flash. Suddenly Shino saw fragmented memories through the hive. Ancient underground ruins. Gigantic insect tunnels stretching endlessly beneath Konoha. And at the center, a colossal white cocoon chained by thousands of seals. The creature continued. The Aburame clan believed the insects served humans. Its eye darkened. But the truth was always opposite. Naruto frowned deeply. What does that mean? The creature slowly pointed downward. There is only one true hive. The atmosphere became colder instantly. All chakra insects descend from her. Hiba whispered nervously. The queen. The creature nodded once. An ancient being buried before hidden villages even existed. Quote. Hiruzen's expression hardened heavily. Naruto immediately noticed. You knew about this. The Hokage stayed silent. That silence answered everything. Naruto threw his arms up dramatically. Why does every secret monster live under our village? Exclamation mark quote. Before anyone could answer. Boom. The floor cracked apart violently. Everyone stumbled backward. A massive claw burst through the metal beneath them. Not human. Not animal. Something worse. Black armor-like skin covered the enormous limb while glowing insects swarmed around it endlessly. The creature beside Shino looked horrified. Too late. The claw tore upward completely. Craash. The entire chamber collapsed. Naruto grabbed Kiba instantly while Anbu shielded the Hokage from falling debris. Shino landed hard against broken stone. Then froze. Because the thing emerging from below was enormous. A gigantic insect-like creature slowly rose from the darkness beneath the ruined chamber. Its body resembled a monstrous queen ant fused with human features. Thousands of glowing eyes covered its armored shell. And in the center of its face, one massive intelligent eye slowly opened. The moment it looked toward Shino, every Kikaichu inside his body reacted violently. Not with fear. With obedience. The queen's voice echoed directly into everyone's minds. My children. Naruto grabbed his head painfully. Why is it talking inside my brain? The queen ignored everyone else. Its gaze remained entirely fixed on Shino. At last, the chosen heir awakens. The entire underground complex trembled. Millions of insects across the village suddenly stopped moving simultaneously. Above ground, the giant swarm over Konoha became completely still. An eerie silence fell over the entire village. Then, every insect turned toward the Hokage monument at once. Hiruzen's expression darkened. She's connecting to the hive fully. The queen slowly lowered her massive head toward Shino. Your mind already hears the truth. Shino's fists tightened slightly. What truth? The gigantic eye narrowed. That humans were never masters of the insects. Naruto growled. Okay. Seriously, stop talking like creepy villains. Suddenly, Shino saw everything. The hive mind opened completely. Millions of insect memories flooded into him instantly. Wars. Assassinations. Secret meetings. Root experiments. Clan betrayals. Every hidden whisper the insects had ever heard. Too much. Far too much. Shino staggered violently. Naruto grabbed him immediately. Shino. Blood dripped beneath Shino's glasses. But his voice remained strangely calm. I can hear them all. The queen's psychic voice echoed proudly. The village's secrets belong to the hive now. Hiruzen stepped forward instantly. Shino. Closed the connection. But it was too late. The hive had already accepted him. The queen slowly smiled. A terrifyingly human smile. Now you understand why they feared Shikuro. Shino trembled slightly. Because within the endless memories, he had already begun uncovering horrifying truths. Root assassinations. Clan conspiracies. Hidden experiments on children. And one final secret buried deeper than all the others. A secret connected directly to Naruto. Shino's eyes widened behind his cracked glasses. Naruto. Naruto blinked. Huh. Shino slowly looked toward him. For the first time ever, real emotion appeared clearly on his face. Shock. The Nine Tails attack. His voice became quieter. Was not the only disaster hidden that night. Silence filled the ruined chamber. Even the queen became still. Naruto frowned. What are you talking about? Quote. Before Shino could answer, the queen suddenly roared violently. The entire hive mind shook. Because somewhere within Shino's newly awakened connection, another consciousness had appeared. Watching. Ancient. Hungry. Not the queen. Something far older. The queen's massive eye widened for the first time in fear. Impossible. Deep beneath the village. Far below even the insect tunnels. Something enormous slowly opened its eyes in darkness. And through the hive mind, Shino heard its first whisper clearly. The seal above